Heidi Ho Lions fans, welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 427. This Detroit Lions team has claws. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and so gorgeous, just rocks the screen, Jeff the Riz Risden. How are you doing, brother man?
It is good to be with you, Chris. We are celebrating a win. Isn't that nice? Like that. It's just so nice to come out and to know that I'm going to be talking to you and talking to the people there on YouTube that are watching us live on the stream. By the way, click that like button so you know when we're coming. Click that subscribe, and we're talking about a win. We're not talking about like moral victories, although I think we will actually talk about a moral victory a little bit. But we're talking about like actual progress and good things. We're not nitpicking like bad things. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is awesome. This is a good week. This is a really good week. We're going to talk a lot. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to look back on. And, yeah, you're right, WMW2, that handsome SOB Jeff Risden. Today's show, we're going to talk about flushing the Washington commodes. We're going to talk about Dan Skipper and the boys. We're going to discuss the current injury situation. We have a special guest who's going to join us. We're going to look ahead to the Minnesota Vikings and a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up. Riz, are you ready to go, my man?
Let's kick this off and break it down.
Woof. Oh, I got to say hi to Don Burr in the chat. How you do, brother? All right, we'll get into this now. Couple of quick things. One thing we have to talk about. I got some altering news today. St. Jude was scheduled for the 14th and 15th of October. We have to delay. The ones who pay the real bills, my day job, is sending me away on those days and has just really scrambled my eggs with this. I just found out. So we're working on it. We're working on it.
We are trying to coordinate a time where we are both available for 24 hours. And just from a preliminary look at our calendars, it's not easy, but we are trying very hard to make this work as soon as possible.
We will. It's delayed, not postponed.
Yeah.
We will do this and get to it. But I apologize. We just have to delay. If I could tell them to pound sand, I would. Welcome to help super chat my way into that. But anyway, that's the way it is, and that's where we're at right now. I apologize to everyone. All the events are still going to happen. The big scavenger hunt, the whole thing. We've got that going on, the global event. We'll get more into that, and we'll have a lot of that laid out here shortly. But sorry, work is unfortunately work. You guys have all done it. You know what we're talking about here. So with that being said, we also want to just give a quick thank you to one of our good friends, our latest subscriber. His name is Corey Chupa. Sorry, Corey Choop. Thank you, Chupa Troopa, for joining and hitting the subscribe button. We appreciate you. All right, let's talk about flushing the commodes. Let's do a game review. There's a lot that happened in this game and a lot to talk about. And I will tell you that we got a great article at Lions Wire. We're going to use that as a little bit of a template to talk through some of this stuff today because this guy, Geoff Risdone, he did a really good job of breaking down the game. Did you see it? Do you ever check out Lions Wire, Riz? Is that something you look at?
Yeah, that guy knows what the hell he's talking about most of the time. He's a little smug, but other than that, he's a pretty good writer.
Yes, he is. Okay, we're going to use that. We're going to talk about it. And well, you can follow along, lionswire.usatoday.com. Gosh, I was going to say our site. Good stuff there. Always a great place to check out and get your latest Lions news. But first and foremost, we talked about this in the Slack. If you were in the Patreon Slack, which is the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet, you knew that Dan Skipper was going to be starting the game at right guard well before anybody else did. And you also knew the team was pretty convinced that he was ready to take that next big kind of step. And taking a step he did. Boy, he looked really, really good out there. Dan Skipper got a lot of praise from the coach. If you watched the presser with Taylor Decker, you saw him talk about Skip. He knew him. He hosted him at a visit at Ohio State when he was there. I mean, he's known him for a long time. There is a whole boatload of love for Skipper in that locker room, and it was great to see him able to take the step. And you saw it in his eyes. You saw it in this guy's eyes. I have a picture of him. I shared it as well. in the Slack from training camp, and if you look at Skipper's eyes, you can tell there's a real soul of a man in there. Boy, that's he's a heck of a dude.
Just watching that and watching the post game, the presentation of the game ball to Dan Skipper. I've known Dan since he was at the Shrine game as a prospect. I got to spend 15 to 20 minutes talking with him there, privately one-on-one. He's a good dude. He's an easy guy to root for. And he had he had the best summer that he's had in his career. This is his 6th season in the NFL. Like, it's not some Johnny come lately. This is a guy who's been battling for years and years. He's bounced around team to team, been with the Lions a lot, but had never been better than he was this summer.
Yeah.
And we all watched on Hard Knocks when he got fired. And you don't think of it normally when a player gets cut or released or waived or whatever. We don't necessarily use the term fired, but Dan used that. And I thought that was really poignant. And I thought how he handled that and how he worked that into his story, like, and made it relatable. Like, hey, if you've been fired, what is it, 22 times he's been fired? I think he said 22 NFL contracts. And this was the first time he'd ever started a regular season game. And for him to go out and do what he did, look, he gave up a sack on the first drive. They ran a stunt on him, and they caught him. Good on them. Mm-hmm. After that, he kicked their freaking ass. And it was so cool to watch. And the fact that the team appreciated that and that Dan Campbell recognized that and appreciated that and sent him out there before Dan got up to the podium in front of us, he sent Dan Skipper out there to talk. Like, that's
to get a sense.
I'm emotional thinking about that. Yeah. Like, because it's not something like you don't get stories like that very often. It's really freaking cool.
Couple things.
It couldn't happen to a better guy. It really couldn't.
He's signed 24 NFL contracts, and he's actually earned money on 5 of them. That's it. I mean, you think about that. Think about, that's just a wild ride. And then I will tell you, I mean, you saw the video and they presented him. Talked to somebody who was there when the skip chants were going on. After there were tears flowing down his face. He was just so emotionally engaged. And again, here's the ultimate Dan Campbell kind of a player, a guy with the grit and the never give up attitude. The guy who said you did everything right. There was nothing you could have done otherwise when he got cut. And he continued to grind, fight, claw, scratch. Is there anything else I could have done, right? You could tell he was really deflated on cut day when we saw him on Hard Knocks. And then to see him standing there with his hands on his hips in that moment when they were chanting his name in the locker room, that he deserved that. He deserved that as much as anybody on the team. And I just feel so good for Dan Skipper. The game, what he gave to this team as a guard, hasn't started, was freshman year in college? He played guard last steps in.
He practiced Friday. It was the first time he'd practiced at guard since he was in college. He ran like a handful of walkthrough snaps at left guard in practices in the summer, but there was never live action stuff. It was all just walkthroughs. So like he was a senior in college in 2015. It's been a long time since he ever played that position. Yeah. And he's 6'10". Like, think about that. Like, normally your guards are, 6'3", 6'4". 6'10", that's abnormally large for a tackle. It's freakish for a guard. And damn it, he pulled it off, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's you think about 6'10" as a quarterback trying to throw the ball, and you've got this guy standing in front of you. It's kind of, it's almost, you want to call it the skipper punch instead of a donkey punch. In football, it's a skipper punch when you get hit in the back of the head with a football, right? I mean, it's got to be hard. It's got to be so hard. But it's his birthday today. Someone mentioned the Armstead thing. You know what? I don't F Armstead. To take a guy who finally gets his moment and to try to tear him down, it's a pretty small individual. I don't want to give him any. The
only thing I will say about that is that he has never played against Dan Skipper personally. Yeah. So that is not firsthand information. They have never played, not even in preseason, not even in scrimmages.
And it doesn't deserve any kind of thought. And I'm just, it's this kind of shit that bothers me.
He would not last in the NFL this long if that was true. Right. I guarantee you 100%. That, because I can point to a couple of guys who have washed out very quickly, and people are like, well, what? Yeah, that ain't happening here.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So I'm not going there. So happy birthday, Dan Skipper. Thank you for bringing everything you did to this team and making this such an enjoyable week. Because watching some of the replays of his blocks, just carrying guys downfield. God, it was Swift's run. He's down there on like the 8-yard line on Swift's run where he was down on the ground and gets up. And if you watch Dan Skipper at the end of that run as Swift gets into the end zone, he's like, yeah, like swinging his arms, celebrating his ass off. That heart, man, I love it. I love it. This guy is one of my favorite Lions right now. And I know, I'll tell you what, he's a favorite in that room. Those guys really do genuinely like Dan Skipper and who he is
yes,
on the offensive line. So a lot to be said for that. All right. So, Dan, congratulations on your debut and all the love that you got for it. You absolutely deserved it. Let's get into this a little bit. Lions versus the Commodes. They flushed the Commodes. First piece, this Geoff guy, he spells it Geoff, so he's, you get what you get there. The disciplined aggression in the run game. God almighty. 101, the Lions rushed for 191 yards. Number one rusher was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
How about that?
and you see it, right? You see Swift, but God, Amon-Ra across the board, Craig Reynolds, right? Jamal Williams. This was absolutely a team effort in the running game.
Oh, and you get it. It's not just the backs, although they were really good. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight there was how well DeAndre Swift specifically, but also Jamal and Craig, went where the play was designed to be blocked. They trusted in the offensive line, even with Dan Skipper playing out of position, even with Evan Brown in there instead of Frank Ragnow at center. Like, they just respected that the line would get the job done, and they did. And they attacked. They didn't waste time. They didn't dance around. And I highlighted in there, there was one Swift run and one Jamal run where they got the ball and they stopped instead of running forward. Those plays gained 1 total yard. Everything else was fantastic. Like the dedication, the attacking the gap, the way that Evan Brown at center can position himself where he's always like sealing the hole. He gets his shoulders and hips squared to where he needs to be blocking to make the designed play work so well. He actually does that better than Ragnow. Ragnow's just stronger and can bowl guys with it. Evans, he's not a big dude and not an overly strong guy, but he does it with the positioning and footwork. And I think you saw Skipper with the combination of that, getting out and engaging people or just giving big lanes. I thought they did a great job of it. The wide receivers down the field. Dan talked about this after the game. Coach Campbell brought it up. Amon-Ra's blocking, Josh Reynolds blocking, DJ Shark, who didn't do shit otherwise, blocked really, really well.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the long DeAndre run, like Shark puts a dude on his ass. Like that doesn't happen without it. So the dedication from the entire team to running the ball was that was nice, man. That's not something we've seen in a long time. It really isn't.
Really quick from William Treese, he memorized how to spell infracaninophile. Infracaninophile. God, I had it. Infracaninophile.
Infracaninophile. Yeah.
That
was a fun one, man. And by the way, that is the most read piece on Lions Wire this week. And I thank you all for that because that was like a frivolous thing. I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. I'll write up and see if I'm. So thank you all for supporting that. That's the kind of crap that I wish I could do more of.
All right, really quick. Let's do this one for the comments. Brandon, this is a really good one. The comments below, go ahead and put that down there. What we're going to ask is if we got to change the intro to the show. We got a touchdown from the Dallas game from our own former quarterback. Great play, Matthew Stafford. What should we change it with? Should we have Swift, Hutch, Amon-Ra, Goff? What do you think should go in there? Put it in the comments, and we'll update the video with some fresh blood from the boys we love today. Quick question from Don Burr. Jeff, is Derek Barnes ever going to get it up top between the ears? The skill is there, but he doesn't seem to mentally be on top of the game there.
His head's still spinning, man. I hope it works for him, but right now it's not looking good. He wasn't good again Sunday. He's been, I don't want to say replaced, but his role is definitely diminishing. It's look, this is a guy he moved positions at Purdue. Detroit's tried to move him again. I really wish, honestly, they would move him back to the rush, the Jack Sam linebacker that the Lions don't actually use much of. But right now, it's not looking good, man.
All right, let's move on. The next one, Jared Goff was very good, but also lucky. And you talk about it so well in here, Jeff, where you talk about how he took the riskier throws. He wasn't shying away from the riskier throws. There was a couple times when it looked like that was maybe a little bit too much risk taking, but he got out of those situations for the most part. I like the Goff I've seen, and what it was, he got 6 touchdowns this year already.
One pick.
Yeah, one pick. Again, just for comparison's sake, I don't care, whatever. Matthew Stafford has 5. He has 5 picks already. That's crazy. So,
and 2 of those were Stafford throwing directly to an opponent. Like it wasn't like a dropped pass or off somebody. Like right. It's like, here, have the ball.
Let me look at this really quick because I want to get this. So he's got 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, Matthew Stafford. And I just love a guy, love him. He's a great guy, all that kind of thing. And I'm not trying to be the jilted girlfriend here, but there's only like about 30 yards difference passing, but you got 6 touchdowns and 1 interception from Jared Goff. So far this year, we've got an upgrade at the quarterback position. That's all I'm going to say.
He's playing well. There's no doubt about it. And one of the things that I wrote in there, and it was something that I was very careful about in wording it, is that we want a more aggressive Jared Goff, but we don't want like carelessly aggressive Jared Goff. Right. We don't want him like if you watch Josh Allen and the Bills last night, like Josh Allen, by the way, phenomenal game, but Josh Allen will take some risks that are like, if it's like 99.9% of other quarterbacks that have ever played the game, you're like, what the bleep is that guy doing? Oh my God, terrible. And sometimes it works out for him, but sometimes it doesn't. Goff can't be that guy. I don't want him to be that guy, but I want him to make the throw that stuck out to me was the throw over the middle to TJ Hawkinson in the 4th quarter, coming across with the Commander's best cover guy, William Jackson, all over him.
Yep.
Goff put that ball it was a Matthew Stafford throw from Jared Goff.
It sure was.
And I haven't seen a lot of those. And the fact, A, that he tried it, and B, that he made it, was a very, very positive development. He made some mistakes, no doubt about it. He got lucky. If Cole Holcomb has eyes on the side of his head, he's got 6 points going the other way when Goff misses Swift on a swing pass. Mm-hmm. The misfires in the red zone, they're bad. Like it's Tim Boyle-esque how bad he misses some of those in the red zone. But damn it, man, he came back and he played a very strong overall game. And I like again that throw to Hawkinson. They made another throw on the next drive to Hawkinson up the right seam. Another one, very small window to a receiver that he trusts. And the other one that stood out, the touchdown to Amon-Ra, the first one, where he's running and he's under pressure and he gets pounded, but he delivers the ball. It wasn't perfect spiral, wobbled a little bit. Mm-hmm. But he trusted the receiver to make the play. He knew that my receiver is better than the dude covering him. I'm going to give him a chance to make a play. That is not the Jared Goff we saw last year. That is not the Jared Goff that got his ass ran out of Los Angeles for being timid is the word that I like to use for that.
Yeah.
Jared Goff wasn't timid Sunday, and it's a damn good thing that he wasn't, because they needed him to take some shots, even with the lead. Like normally when you get a little bit more conservative, like he didn't go into a shell and hide away and automatically check down. That's a real positive step for me from Jared Goff.
Yeah. And so exactly that. He talked about it. Jared Goff talked about how he needs to get a little bit better on getting on the same page with Chark and with Hawkinson. And he said it starts with me. He said so. They talked about how as a team, right, they did well, but they left a lot of stuff. There's things they could have done better, and they recognize the things they could have done better, and that they're going to continue to work on those things. That's exactly the right attitude. There's no, you watch Tom Brady go out and win and do his thing. He's throwing,
get into a fight.
Yeah, get in a fight, throwing the Surface tablet on the side of the sideline. That's just, that's part of it. You don't always have things go perfect, no matter who you are. The idea that Goff has control of this offense, has the confidence in this offense, has improved in the way that he's playing with this offense, and recognizes the areas that he needs to get better at. The confidence he has, the confidence he showed in that interview this week when he came out there, and one of the members of the press tried to interrupt him, and he stopped him. He just said, no, let me finish. And he finished it and then moved on. He's not just in control. He's not a loud guy. He's not a rah-rah kind of guy, but he is absolutely in control and in the lead, whether he's up on the podium or whether he's in that huddle. I like this Jared Goff we're seeing. He is an absolute improvement, and we said it last year. If he would have had those targets, if he would have had that talent, he would have been a much, much better quarterback. And we're starting to see that now. And the ceiling is starting to look to be a little higher than it was before. It's getting a little better. We're watching a team that really looks like if they continue on this trajectory, they could be a pretty darn good team this week. Like after this week, and then we'll talk about this too, seeing the Eagles and Minnesota play, that 7-win button that I pressed doesn't seem so far-fetched at all.
I agree. The way that they're consistently gashing on offense, and look, say what you will about Philadelphia, I think we've all agreed that that's a pretty dang good football team. Now Washington has some issues. They have linebacker issues. By the way, I told people that the Lions have better linebackers than Washington going into this game. And people are like, what the bleep are you talking? And then after the game, I had a few people, and it came up in the Slack, are like, damn, dude, you were right, man. Like, their linebackers are really bad. Like, I thought ours sucked. Like, at least ours are aware of what's going on. And by the way, the dichotomy that's going on now between the Lions linebackers are god-awful and we got to replace everybody, and the same people out of the other side of their mouth are like, Rodrigo for Rookie of the Year. Do you understand how freaking stupid you sound? Pick a side. Like it can't be both. Like, there's a lot of times, it can be both. It can't be both. People drive me freaking nuts.
Yep. So Mike Hodges finishing without going into try not to lose shell was new to this Lions fan. We passed in the same old Lions sure run situations to win the game with confidence. That goes to the next topic here, written by Geoff. Washington's offensive speed adjustment in the half worked a little bit too well. This is absolutely true. This might be a little something that shows opposing teams a way to attack this Lions defense, because that second half they came out quite strong. Now, Jeff Okudah not being there for part of that was part of that. Not being perfect for part of that was some of the situations as well. But their adjustments had a real effect on the Lions defense.
And this goes back to the preseason game against the Colts, where the Colts they run horizontal pass concepts. They use their speed not vertically to stretch the field, but horizontally to get you in chase mode. Mm-hmm. And it's especially effective against the zone because you got guys transitioning and they're a little bit slow to get on it. I love the way Washington used Curtis Samuel in the second half. Like, that was good football. That's good offense from Washington. Tip your cap. The other teams a lot of do good things too, and they did. And I thought that they found a way to get Terry McLaurin. They put him in motion a little bit more. They stacked him a little bit more. They did some really savvy adjustments that took advantage of what they do well and what the Lions don't do well. And I give them credit for that. Okudah going out hurt. They completed 7 of 8 passes as soon as he went out. He came back in. Next 2 passes were incomplete.
Yep.
Somewhat causational or correlational, but I always screw that up, Chris. You got to help me on that. Corollary and not cause whatever. You don't know what I mean.
Correlation does not equal causation, my friend.
But I thought the blueprint on how to beat the Lions, specifically when Okudah isn't in the game, is you make them chase across the field, and their guys are just faster than your guys. Look, it's not a fast secondary. Okudah is the fastest cornerback that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
And now Will Harris is faster than Amani Oruwariye, who hopefully will be back. Hopefully, with the back injury, you never know, but hopefully he'll be back this week. And he just doesn't play that fast. And you see, like Mike Hughes, a very fast guy, doesn't play fast and doesn't react fast. And I think that was exposed. And then the safeties, I actually thought Deshaun Elliott played a very good game, certainly better than he was in the first week. And that was nice to see. But again, not a guy who's going to run with Curtis Samuel across the field. They isolated Rodrigo once where Samuel lined up outside, started in, and was in the slot running towards the tight end area at the point of the snap. That made him Rodrigo's mark, and he had 8 yards on Rodrigo on the pass. And Rodrigo's trying, he just couldn't get there, and Elliott over the top was preoccupied by the action on the other side. Washington's offense in the second half, like the other team deserves credit sometimes. They did a really damn good job of making adjustments and executing in the second half. They were able to use speed better, but the Lions held on. I thought that they did a better job of at the end. They switched back out of zone into a little bit more man coverage where they were better, where the defensive backs should come up and get their hands on the receivers to let them not get that clean free release. And I give Aubrey Pleasant and Aaron Glenn a little bit of credit for making the adjustment to the adjustment. Happened later than I wanted to, later than I was comfortable with, but they at least made it. So I was. You know me, Chris. You know me if you followed me at all, listeners here. I'm very big on giving the other team credit when it's due. Yeah, you got to give Carson Wentz and the Commodores. I almost said, yeah, we'll call them the Commodores. That works. They deserve some credit for how well they played in the second half. That's a team that's going to beat some teams. That they beat Jacksonville. By the way, the transitive property, they beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville shut out the Colts. Maybe Washington isn't so bad after all.
Yeah, no, I think and we saw it week one. They were definitely a formidable team. They have some serious potential. It's interesting. So
they got weapons, man. Terry McLaurin, like Logan Thomas at tight end. That we know that guy can play. Their offensive line, I will give them a little bit of credit. They gave up 3 sacks to Hutch. I thought their right tackle, specifically Sam Cosby, played a pretty good game. I think he did a good job individually against Hutchinson. Hutchinson got his stuff from hustle and from secondary effort and from other guys creating for him and him finishing it, which, by the way, isn't a negative. I don't know why that's being viewed as a negative against Hutchinson. Like, he finished plays. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why that's bad.
I'm just, get away from the Rodrigo Rookie of the Year. I know he's a favorite. You love him. That's awesome. That's a lot of fun. But I got money on Hutchinson. You got to push Hutchinson Rookie of the Year. I made my money against Washington. Thank you. And
by the way, I have last week I did the tape breakdown where I charted every play of Okudah. This week I did Rodrigo. It's going to drop in the morning. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it will be on Lions Wire for you.
Nice. So yes, that also I got 220. I'm plus 220 in the Minnesota game. I got a nice little bit.
Oh, did you buy in early?
Yeah, I did.
Smart.
So we'll talk about that, and we'll get there. Let's see. We'll keep working. Let's talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was just incredible. Smoked some serious holes. He's done that all season already for both games. DJ Chark, we want to talk about him a little bit. And like you had mentioned earlier, you alluded to his blocking is where he shined in this game. He was able to put some crucial key blocks out there. Him and Goff got a little work to get together and get on the same page. I mean, did they play any snaps together even in the preseason? I'm trying to think. I mean,
I think it was one drive.
Yeah.
And the big thing with them, and you see this and it was very obvious in the red zone one where Goff made a mistake and threw it late, is that Goff doesn't have that communication comfort with Chark. He threw that ball late. He held onto it for an extra count, and it gave the defense even more time. Again, by the way, Benjamin St. Juste, their cornerback that they locked up primarily on Chark, that guy can play too. He was good. Now, there was one opportunity where Chark did beat him over the top, and Goff missed him. He overthrew him. Mm-hmm. That one, I mean, look, it's tough to be accurate. I think the ball went 49 yards in the air. It's tough to be accurate when you're not working with that guy. And it missed by a step. Like, I'm not going to kill him for that, but that's the play that you got to hit. By the way, same pattern that Josh Reynolds got open on 1 week earlier, and Goff just missed him on that one too. Exact same pattern. This one actually wound up being a little bit deeper, but that's one that Goff maybe has to work on a fine-tuning with each of his individual receivers. Because I tell you what, if he throws that pass that he threw to Shark to Josh Reynolds, it's 6.
Yeah. So let's really quick. Anyone coming back off the injury report? We'll get to injuries in a little bit here. We'll talk about that. I want to hit Bobby Price, and
well, Logan Thomas sure as hell did.
Mm-hmm. Logan Thomas, I like him. I wish he was still in Detroit. That being said, that was a BS play, and I talked about it a little bit in the post-game show, and Ash and I disagreed on whether Tracy Walker should have been ejected in week 1. The two penalties on the same play resulting in an ejection, I'm like, that shit just doesn't happen. So often it doesn't even get called. The first one, much less the second one, was just really, really ticky-tacky. Here you see, and you look at the replay, the ref wasn't looking right at it. Bobby Price was taking a knee, was giving up on the knee, and took a spear, a helmet in the back of the head, and not even a flag thrown for that. You talk about completely different ends of the spectrum. How does a guy like Tracy Walker get ejected in a game when there's literally no call at all on Logan Thomas? And that is just an egregious failure. I haven't heard anything about any penalties. I haven't heard any apologies from the NFL. I haven't heard, anything out of that. But that was clearly a BS crap hit. And then Fox pound sand because you didn't play the replay because you suck. And you also didn't play the replay on the potential Rodrigo interception because little boo-boo boy Wentz hit his hand. And he showed us 3 different angles of nothing, but we couldn't see the actual result of the play. So Fox. But this Bobby Price thing is BS. I was already angry enough, so I can talk about it that way.
Yeah, it was frustrating. That should have at least been a 15-yard penalty. I don't know about an ejection, but it certainly should have been a penalty. And Walker, he threw a punch. You get ejected for that. Like that's a pretty cut and dry thing. To Fox's broadcast real quick, they were off. And I won't blame. I thought Kenny Albert was okay. He was fine. I thought Jonathan Vilma was great on color.
Yeah.
Their truck, their production crew was the problem.
Yep. Yeah. It had nothing to do with the announcers and their ability to call a game. As a matter of fact, let me just sometimes you have to just kind of put a lesson out there and provide some information, maybe some a way for people to see what good looks like. So I'm just going to put something together from the Lions and own the classiest and best announcer in the NFL of any team. We'll get this a little play. The Lions tweeted this. This is well worth the watch. This is Dan Miller doing his job and showing people how to do the job.
Wentz pumps that right leg, leans in. There's the snap. He's back in his end zone to throw. Wentz hit from behind. Ball's loose out of the back of the end zone. That is a safety. Charles Harris got him.
He's right there.
That's how you step up and make a play right there. Saw that football, chopped it down. It came loose. Rolled out of the back of the end zone, add 2 to that scoreboard for Detroit. There's the snap. He's got it, wants to throw. Wentz looks, pressure comes. Wentz hit, sack, back inside the 20. Aiden Hutchinson, that's number 2.
On his feet, right? I mean, tell me he doesn't love this.
This crowd is loving that. Aiden Hutchinson doing work. He said, yeah, I was a little revved up last week. Well, you know what? He's revving this week right towards the quarterback. 5th tackle of the day, 2 sacks. Goff's back. Washington brings the pressure. Goff throws. It is complete to Swift. Falls down, gets back up and runs. Inside the 10. Oh, my goodness, are you kidding me? To the house. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. From the seat of his pants to the end zone. Oh, my goodness. 32, I see you. That is something else.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you call a ball game. You talk about a guy who's excited about it, and I will give you all a big, and look, I'm not trying to spend your money here. I'd rather you spend it on Super Chats and Patreons for us, but NFL Plus, as garbage as it is as an app, you can listen to the radio live during the game. And if you're using, like I use the stream on DirecTV, F you, DirecTV, you suck. I would it's so far behind that you can sync the two up, and it is ideal. You can listen to Dan and Lomas call the game while you watch it on TV. Not again, nothing wrong with the announcers, right? From Fox, they did a good job this time. But Dan is always superior. And when you sync those two up, no matter where, I'm down in Tampa. Listen to Dan call the game. It just brings me right back home. It just takes me home. And he is so much better. Just hashtag turn up the radio. Go get yourself some Dan Miller, stream it and listen to it and sync it up with the video. You'll be a happy person if you do.
It's so good to hear Dan. And you saw like the genuine like reaction. Like he's loving that, man. Look, we love Dan. Dan has been great to us. He's a great guy, and cannot say enough good things about Dan Miller.
Yeah. Dan, well, if you can look back in last day of July, the 30th, we had Dan and Jerry Jacobs in doing our yearly training camp party. Really, really great. Really, really great. Dan's such a great guy. Jerry's great. It was really great to have him. So there you go. All right, let's talk a little bit about Jared Goff, nominated the FedEx Air Player of the Game. That's our third nomination now. Rookie of the Week, Aiden Hutchinson this week. He's up for that. And then also the ground player last week, DeAndre Swift. This is not something we're used to from this Detroit Lions offense. This is not something we're used to.
So Goff isn't going to win. Tua's fourth quarter might have been the best fourth quarter in NFL history. Like 199 yards, 4 touchdowns against the freaking Ravens. I mean, like, go Tua. That was nice, man. So he probably deserves to win, but it's nice for Goff to get nominated in this. 4 touchdowns. What was it? 254 yards.
Yeah, 254.
He had a great day. And I'm glad that it's getting recognized. He deserves it. And if you're a Lions fan, you should vote for him. But don't be upset when he doesn't win, because he probably wasn't the best quarterback in the week.
Not this week. I mean, if you go across 2 weeks, he's looking good. But, still, And just the fact that we're continuing to see our guys get nominated like this says a lot about how the team is doing, right? We're good. We're doing well. So he got nominated. Also want to talk about Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah out there, this guy needs some credit, because a lot of people dogging him, and he's coming back from a career-ender injury for a ton of players. And he is out there as the unquestioned number 1 cornerback for the Detroit Lions. Even when Amani's healthy, Jeff Okudah is the guy. This is year 3, right? Year 3 of Jeff. Missed a year last year, played under a crap coach the first year, but usually year 3 is when you see what you got. This guy's had everything stacked against him, and yet still he's coming out fire. My man needs some credit. My man did a really, really good job out there both weeks, this week and last week.
Cut out Devontae Smith week 1 when he traveled with Terry McLaurin in this game. McLaurin had 1 catch. We all saw it, and Okudah, like, he got caught in the spin cycle and missed a tackle too. Bad play. Beyond that, I think I had Okudah for 2 other catches. Both of them were in zone, and he made tackles right away. Yep. You can't ask for much more than what you got. He got beat once. That's going to happen. Terry McLaurin, damn good football player. We all know that. I cannot be happier with where Jeff Okudah is in progress. He is the number 1 cornerback on this team, and it's not just because like the other guys aren't playing well or there's rotating casts. Like, he's a legit number 1 NFL cornerback right now. From the first 2 weeks, There haven't been a lot that have been better than him. And that's exactly what we need him to be. I don't care if he was drafted 3rd overall. At this point, I just want a guy who can start and be reliable. I got that. I'm happy with that. If he gets better than that and lives up to the number 3, even better. But I'm good, man. I'm not going to get greedy on that.
Big West weekly awards don't mean anything. Just win games. Oh, they do. If you're constantly,
they absolutely matter. That's how you build confidence. That's how you get buzz. Having that recognition, that's something that reinforces the players that what they're doing is going in the right direction. 100%. They absolutely care about that.
And beyond
it definitely matters.
Beyond that, if you're getting those every week, and that means your players are playing well. Period. That's it. And you want your players playing well. I don't see Oh God, who I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo out there for a award. He played well, but I don't see. There's a lot of guys. Ryan Tannehill is not up for any awards. I haven't seen any Titans up for awards in 2 weeks. Right? It means something that you're doing something. It's an indicator, right? It's not an end game, but it's an indicator, and you need those indicators to show, that you're actually doing something, to recognize that you are doing something. If you don't get any of those, you're not doing shit. That's the bottom line. So it
means that you don't have talent and it's not executing well. This means that you have some talent and it's executing well.
Yep.
That's what leads to winning football games.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next one here. I want to talk about, Dan Skipper got the game ball as we alluded to earlier, but I give my game ball to somebody a little bit different. And I love Dan, and you heard me talk up Dan. My game ball goes to Hank Fraley. We had 2 out of 5 starting offensive linemen on this team, and I'm going to go to the Senior Bowl. I got to go back. You mentioned McLaurin. He was my first Senior Bowl crush, if you remember. That first year is when he was at the Senior Bowl, and I could tell.
It was 2019, wasn't it? We were down there.
Yep. Yeah, I knew he was going to be special. I knew it. So anyway, Hank Fraley. Yeah. We saw Hank Fraley down at the Senior Bowl. No one in the press is talking about him. We had Patricia as the coach, right? It was that's who we were. Nobody was talking about Hank Fraley, and we noticed it immediately. We had put a video on from way back then on the YouTube of Hank teaching the guys, working with the guys directly. We knew it, and again, I'm going to tell you guys, we've called a lot of people out early. Skipper, if you saw it in the chat again on the Patreon Slack chat, you saw we knew what we were going to get with him this week. But Hank Fraley, we could tell he was something special. When the switch came between the last coaching staff and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, we were very, very adamant that we need to keep Hank. Hank is something very, very special. I don't know any other offensive line in this league that's going to plug 3 guys in as backups and perform as well as this team did against those wonderful defensive line in Washington.
Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, like that Montez Sweat. These are all first-round picks. Like Washington used 4 first-round picks in a row on their defensive line. The best one of them, Chase Young, was out.
Yep,
probably good for Detroit.
Yeah,
those other 3 guys, like they're all good. Like they hit on those picks. that's the strength of their team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so to be able, Evan Brown, right, starting center potentially on any team in the NFL. Last year took a little heat. He's a guy you could just tell had the talent, though. He had the he stepped up yesterday. And we talk about Dan Skipper. We have to give a lot of love to Evan Brown. This kid is really he's brought it. He played so well in a position. And you got Skipper and Brown side by side, center and guard. A guy who, as we said, hadn't played guard since college, his freshman year. To be able to make this work, I'm just going to tell you, our offensive line, okay, you want to talk about a stat for an offensive line, our running backs get 3.4 yards on average before contact. Number 1 in the league, I believe, 3.4 yards before any contact. Tell me that doesn't point to one hell of an offensive line. Hank Fraley has done amazing work with this team, rotating guys, bringing them up, helping them understand the next man up. To see a guy like Dan Skipper's face being cut and coming back and performing like he did, you just don't see that in most systems with most coaches. You don't get that kind of devotion and grind from your players. Fraley knows how to get this out of him. I give Hank Fraley the game ball for this win because he is what created the Swift, the Williams, the Amon-Ra St. Brown. All of those 191 rushing yards are really because Fraley put a good team together.
With you on that. I actually didn't give a game ball up, but Hank would I would have given it to Skipper, but Hank has a hand on that ball. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right, another one I want to talk about: special teams, and you talked about it a bit in your article. Special teams was on point. I just want to reflect back to the time when people were crying about Braden Coombs. Oh my God, he hasn't been employed for 2 years. Oh, they fired Braden. What's wrong with this organization? Braden.
His own dad won't hire him.
Dave Phipp. We interviewed him at the Senior Bowl this year. Guy was awesome. He's awesome personality off. Great special teams coach. Those guys were out there performing. Cephas, most people didn't know he was playing. He was out there and made a play on special teams. Very good play on special teams. That was while DirecTV was screwing its customers. I recommend all kinds of ways not to play DirecTV. There's options out there to not pay anybody, and at this point, the NFL doesn't deserve money on this kind of stuff. But anyway, I gotta say, Dave Phipp just really did it. Just really put this team together. This special teams team. They were. I believe the word was tight that J.F. Risden used.
It did. And this is when we're at training camp and when we're at practices during the week, the media hates special teams practice because we're not getting to see anything that is useful for us. They're practicing. Oh, great. The devotion and the attention to detail that Dave Phipp puts on his players in practices, it's manifesting in games. And it was the Caliph, gotta say it right, Caliph Raymond free kick return off the safety. He got 53 yards, I think it was, on the return.
So great.
He got 46 before he was touched. It was perfect blocking. And again, but much like with the running backs going exactly where the run play is designed, Leaf went exactly where that return was designed to go, and the guys all executed. Cephas, Pittman, Chris Board, Juju Hughes, they were all exactly where they needed to be, holding the blocks, legally holding, not grabbing on. It was beautiful. Juju Hughes covering the touchdown, the kickoff after the first Amon-Ra touchdown. He hit that guy, and you heard Jonathan Hill was oh my God, got him at the 16-yard line. Some of us wondered, why Juju made the team after he had a pretty rotten preseason actually in coverage. That's why he's on the team. He was really good. Cephas, I think he only played 6 snaps on offense. I know he wasn't thrown to. Played a really strong game on special teams. If you go back to the summer when we were talking about, is he going to make the roster or is he not? One of the things that I said why he might not was because special teams. Well, he busted his ass, and he's a great special teams player. At least he was on Sunday. That's great to see.
Yeah. For sure. So just really quick, we're talking about special teams. Some people are crying about Coombs going away, who hasn't been employed since. He's unemployable. And then the Hank Fraley talent spotters. We might know what we're doing, Riz. Just a little talk. Hey, maybe a little something there. All right, playoffs. If they started today, the Lions would be playing the Bucks, which is great because either way, I'm going to the game. Yeah.
I actually don't know that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if Mike Evans was suspended for that one.
We got a special announcement coming up shortly. We're going to do injuries first. Chris, ask Jeff if he's ready for a Monday Night Flex game because it's coming.
It could be, actually. I'll live with that. Yeah. My hatred of primetime games is well documented, but I'll take one for the team there.
There you go. All right, best play in football is perfectly blocked run. I would wager our offensive success is that we have a high amount of perfectly blocked plays. Respected man, you are very respected and not so mad, man, because I think you're 100% right. I think there's a ton to do with that, and it goes right to that 3.4 yards before contact for the running backs.
Yeah, league average I think is 2.1, so that's getting it done.
Yep. Quick question: can we listen to game replays in the NFL Plus app and hear Dan Miller? I believe we can. I believe you can hear the radio replays.
Yes, you can. You can choose which team's audio you want to listen to, but you can only do. You can't do that like I watch on a Roku. You can't do it on that. I can do it on my laptop though. On the NFL's, it's they call it Plus, but it's not really NFL Plus because it's not.
Yeah.
But when you watch your game on your laptop using the NFL with their premium service, you can pick which audio you want to listen to.
Yep. So it's worth it just for Dan. It really is. Really quick, I guess this is radio for one. Riz, you want me to send you some Miller's Chicken? I live a block away.
Oh, wow. That's going way back, man. I don't think I've been there since 1982.
Oh, wow.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Thank you, respected madman. I don't want to give away your real name, but thank you, brother, for the super chat. We appreciate you very, very, very much. All right. We're going to get into the next one. After we do injuries, we will bring in a very special guest. The first one, Frank Ragnow. You may have heard he's injured. He injured his toe on the first touchdown in the game against the Eagles. All I know is I'd look for maybe a designation change around Wednesday or Thursday. That's my thinking on that.
So the Lions, we're doing this on Tuesday night. For those of you listening to the audio only or catching up on it later, thank you for doing that, by the way. They didn't practice today, so we don't have any injury reports until tomorrow. Dan Campbell is scheduled to talk to the media. I actually can't give out the time, but it's before practice, and he will be asked about the injured players, and you better believe that Frank will be the first one that gets asked about because he's the most important player that's hurt.
There's a man outdoors.
I thought he did a good job talking about Hutchinson as Charlie Horse, but I've had my head down. I was in the film room all day and doing some other stuff, so I haven't paid attention to any what's going on, what's been said about any of the injured guys. So I'll leave this one to you, Chris, because you probably know better than I do.
Rags, I think we're going to see him come back as probably questionable or doubtful, then questionable, then he'll play Sunday. I think. I just that's my gut. Jonah Jackson, I don't think we're going to see him for a bit. More to come. It's not just a finger. It's a finger, but it's more than just
it's more that he's as I told Hughes yesterday. He's not sitting out with a freaking hangnail. You remember Taylor Decker last year, and Taylor he broke this finger right here, and it was bent out. And when he did that, it tore the ligaments in the hand here, so he couldn't move anything from this part of the hand over. So he couldn't move his thumb, couldn't move his finger, because it was just messed up.
This is the part where
I don't know that's what happened to Jonah, but it sounds like that might be what happened to Jonah.
This is where the video is important. Lot to see there. We'll get him back, but it's going to be a bit. Jerry Jacobs, we're waiting for words. He had a tweet go out today where he was talked about coming back, and then he deleted it. Jacobs watch. Boop, 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 boop. Keep your radar going. Jacobs watch. And
remember, he's on PUP for 2 more weeks, and then they have a bye. After 1 week. And I said this before, I think both he and Jammo will be back week 7 in Dallas and not before that. And that's not an indication that they're not ready.
Yep.
I think that's the team wanting to make sure that they're even more ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And much to see there. It's a strategic play, I think, more than anything. We'll leave it at that. We'll talk about it as it happens more than anywhere else or in the Patreon Slack chat, of course. Really quick, Loretto, thank you for the super chat, my man. What is a successful season for the Lions versus Goff? There has to be some overlap if we win 7 to 9 games, mostly in terms of contract for Goff. I feel the Lions feel totally different about Goff than the fans. I would say fans are coming around, and then I think Goff may change some minds. I think also you're going to see a huge jump in the salary cap coming up. And I think that he's going to sign for a good bit of money, but I also think that Jared Goff. Well, I think he's going to wind up here. We'll see. We got a lot of games to play still. I think he's going to wind up here, and I think we're going to be happy that he is. And then
he's also under contract for 2023, so you're looking further out than that. I don't think anything's going to happen with his contract this offseason. I just don't. Unless the Lions want to lock him up under a market rate because other guys, the price tag again is only going to go up, and other guys who are better than Goff are going to set the bar even higher. Lamar Jackson, as an example, is going to get ridiculous money. And by the way, that there's a bunch of Lions fans that are like, "Oh, we can go get Lamar." No, you can't, because if he doesn't sign with the Ravens, they're going to franchise tag him, and you know what? They'll do it again the next year, and it's still cheaper to franchise tag him than it is to pay him what he wants on his long-term deal. So he will be out of there for 3 more seasons at minimum. That's just the reality of it. Sorry to burst some bubbles there.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Meisner, 1983. Thank you, sir, for the subscription. Appreciate you for doing that as well. Riz is not always right, but he's never wrong. Duncan. I love that name, Duncan.
These nuts.
I will find any excuse I can to use it. That's great. All right, yeah, good stuff. Okay, we have a special guest that we want to bring on. Let me bring our guest in here because we got something we want to talk about. And it's all broken. Sorry, we'll get that fixed. Hey, Scott.
That guy.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. I'm going to get some video together really quick, get it fixed up. But Scott, why don't you? Scott Bischoff is here. How about that?
Hi, everybody.
Riz, why don't you say hi to Scott? Help us out.
It is good to see you, my man. I have missed your presence in my life. Tell me I'm going to see more of you in my life, please.
So, one, what's wrong with you? Really? And two, yes, you are going to. We're going to do some stuff together, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Chris, what do we got cooking? What's happening?
I something broke on the video thing, so I have to fix it real quick in the background. But I'm doing it really fast, so I'm just kind of quietly doing.
How about
my
if
thing.
Jeff and I talk about
that would be great.
Quarterbacks in the upcoming draft?
If you guys talk about
can we talk about Anthony Richardson and the meteoric rise and the subsequent plummet to the abyss of
the water's going to find
trench?
its level, right? Like it always does. Although I really like him.
I do too. There's a lot to like, but after 5 starts, it clearly needs about 15 to 25 more in college before he's ready.
It is obvious that he needs time for sure, but all the talent is there for sure.
Talk to me about CJ Stroud, because I watched the Ohio State game this week. I'm pretty sure you did too.
Yep.
The throw he made on the run, rolling to his right, where he hit the receiver coming across, like, damn.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that he normally doesn't do. Like he really doesn't like to leave the pocket, right? It's like, and in today's game, you want to see quarterbacks move and make plays outside the structure of a play. That's where the real value is. If he can add that element and that component to his game, it could be lights out. Although I think there are some limiting things for him too. But if he can add some playmaking ability to the things that he does, and the vertical throwing game for him is just awesome. I don't think he's crazy accurate though, but he's incredible throwing it. It's a little bit like Russell Wilson's vertical game. I know I always laugh. You ever watch the NHL draft?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's round 5 and some center goes and they compare him to Joe Sakic. And it's like, would you stop? Come on. I just compared CJ Stroud to Russell Wilson. And I laugh at myself that I did that.
So we got the Bish here, and I got the video straight. Hi Scott. Welcome aboard.
Thanks. So we have news.
Really? Yeah. Let's crack the news first because it is fun and exciting stuff. Scott is joining the team. Scott's been. I mean, are you the Joe Sakic that we've just drafted?
No, absolutely not. Because I have all my fingers, so that's really the only difference. I mean, I do have I've got a great snapshot, and I've been known.
You got that slew-footed wrister that he had. That was sweet,
nasty,
man.
Yeah. No, I can't believe I busted out the finger joke. If anybody doesn't know, he lost a finger or two in a snowblower accident many years ago, but he played for the.
That's what ended his career. He was still an active player at the time.
We don't really care, but no, he was awesome. He was like
he's my favorite all-time hockey player. I have a Joe Sakic Nordiques jersey.
He was awesome. He really was.
All right, let's talk about what we got going on. We have Scott Bischoff here, not just here now, but he is joining the team. He's going to be putting together some really sweet content for us this year, joining the Detroit Lions podcast team on our YouTube channel. Scott, let's talk about Friday first. Do you want to talk about what we've got coming there?
Sure. We're going to have a little preview, a little game, a little week 3 game preview. You guys are going to do that tonight, but I'm going to have a little video out on Fridays, and then we'll do a post-game wrap-up maybe Tuesdays. And then we're going to have a little fantasy segment that comes along Wednesday, Thursday range, where we're going to talk a little DFS. I don't know that we need to do the thanks, Don. I don't know if we need to get into the whole redraft concept of things, but DFS is cool, so we can get into some of the sneaky stuff that might be happening there. And that's
Fantasy
how we're gonna
DFS involve Julianne Moore in any way? Because it sounds like it should.
Well, it could be.
It is in my day.
Oh man,
That's
so
a long time ago.
It
was actually before my day.
Yeah, I was gonna say Riz is a long time ago kind of guy.
No, I think actually I'm older than Riz, to be honest with you.
Don't let it a secret.
I turned 50 Saturday, so
I am older than you.
Yeah,
52.
You certainly act older than me, so good on you for that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of setting a low bar.
A lot of the people in the chat who know Scott talking about great addition, looking forward to his content. Yeah, and the other part is as the season moves on, we're gonna start looking at some of the talent in the future. And Scott is really, really good, much like the Riz at assessing talent, looking at talent, helping figure out what holes the Lions might want filled, and that could be taken a couple ways, but we'll just stick with talent. It really kind of assessing what to look for and what the heck is out there. Really excited to have Scott on board with us, and especially the starting out these game previews and these game reviews. I think these are going to be really smart because Scott brings this sober mind. We do our post game show and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do that, but it's that kind of emotional in the moment. Sometimes a therapy session, sometimes a celebration kind of thing. And Scott's going to bring, I guess sobriety is a good word. I
just think it'll be a bit of a step back from maybe like what you're saying, the emotional takes, and more of a this is what I think happened kind of thing. Not that it'll be any. I mean, it'll just be a touch different than this, the real spur of the moment analysis. But I'm excited about it because it's doing the pregame and postgame. It'll be an interesting way to look at what's happening and areas that may have spots on the team that might have performed really well, but others that might have not, and things that we can do there. And then like you were saying, Chris, when it comes to draft season, no offense to anybody else, but we're gonna crush Lions draft. We just are.
Yeah, it's a smoke show.
It's so good, and I love it with Scott because we have these debates. We call each other and we'll argue about players, but we'll also agree on things, and I think that's great. The ability to have civilized discussion and differing opinions. I can't wait for that, man. It's gonna be so good.
It'll be good. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Oh, we got a question here. Riz and Bischoff could be our version of AG and Deuce. Expect you guys to be demonetized at least once a month as a result. Potentially.
Oh boy.
Good fun stuff. Yeah, good fun stuff. So let's Scott joining DLP is like Michael Schenker joining UFO. I love that reference.
There's a reference. Yes.
Oh, thank William. Okay, let's really quick talk about some of the stuff here. We want to get into. We had a question last week, and I thought this was really good to bring up with you, Scott, here, and kind of get some of your thoughts, especially in light of what happened. Last week we asked, was the game against Philadelphia a moral victory or was it progress? What is it that we saw? And there was a pretty good split between people and their kind of responses to that. It's all about it's if it's not a win, it doesn't matter kind of a thing, versus hey, there was good progress. We lost to them by 38 points the year before, and now we lost by 3. This is what progress looks like, and they were a better team. I want to ask you, what do you think at this point? Number one, are we in this moral victory stage, and are we in progress? And if progress, what are some of the things that you really see as kind of highlights and kind of those signposts for it?
Well, I mean, it could be both. I mean, you can lose and feel good about losing to a team that potentially might be one of, if not the best team in the NFC. And the thing after week 1 is you just don't know that. So yeah, it's a loss. And there was a moment in that game where it looked like they were getting rolled, right?
Yeah.
But they responded really well and they made it a tight game. And I would imagine that Philly didn't feel as comfortable as they wanted to with how that game shook out. So, you lost, and I took it as a bit of a moral victory. Like, in 4 or 5 weeks, we might look at that game and think, wow, Philly is 4-1, 5-0 kind of thing. And the Lions played them pretty tight. And that might look like a great loss. And after week 2, I think it looks like a great loss. If there is such a thing as a great loss, Philly could be a powerhouse. Jalen Hurts looks like a different dude. I know people did a lot of complaining. So one of the things I got to figure out is how much I'm allowed to swear here, because there's
as much as you want, really.
People did a lot of bitching about some of the inability for the Lions to finish at Jalen Hurts and get him to the ground. It's like, we saw it last night too. He's a really hard guy to get to the ground. He just is. Pressure was there. Hutchinson had a good game, right? Like, they got a lot of pressure on him. They just couldn't finish. And, you see last night, he scores twice and he looks like he's all world. AJ Brown's ridiculous. The combination of AJ Brown and Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert and their ability to add in college concepts to that offense and do things super creative. Like, Jeff, you have Dallas Goedert and you're finding ways to scheme him to where he's being covered by a corner.
Yep.
Is that a good thing?
That's good for if you're the Philadelphia offense, not so good if you're the defense.
Yes.
They did a great job of it. Yeah.
They really do. And it's like, okay, so you have that. You have AJ Brown, who I don't know what you do with him. I mean, if you want to press him, good luck. If you want to play off, it's just going to be a quick slant and then you got to tackle him. Good luck. It's just like the blend of what they have on offense is really unique and it's working. And so I guess to answer the question is just, I think it's a moral victory. And I also think that there's a lot of promise in what we saw and improvement. Yes, it was a loss, but we saw some of that improvement carry over to week 2 where, the running game looks great. It really does. The scheme of what they're doing up front looks great. You did it without you ran the ball as effectively as you did last week against Washington, which is a good defensive line with 3 replacement interior offensive linemen, and that's insane. It's just nuts. So those are the things I'm hopeful for. And then you go over to the defensive side of the ball. Jeff Okudah looks really good. He looks really good coming off that Achilles injury. Malcolm Rodriguez is a rock star in the making. He's a 6th round pick. We could talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown for a long time. He's a 4th round pick. Those are the kind of picks that take a team from a team that needs to hit on picks to a team that's, getting lots of production from very inexpensive places. We should all be very hopeful for what the Lions are. I mean, there's, we can complain about certain things, but it's week 2. They're 1-1.
There's
a certain, looks incredible. They look great on offense. They really do.
There's a certain amount of self-awareness too on offense with Goff saying that, hey, we've got some things we can do better, things to improve. It starts with me. I haven't been on point with Chark, and I haven't been on point with Hawkinson, and those are things we're going to work on and we're going to get better at. And I mean, you're scoring at least 35 points a game to be able to say these are the things we need to work on. These are the things we clearly need to do to get better. There's a certain element of humility in that and self-awareness that I think is really, really important for a guy like Goff and for an offense like this and with a coaching staff like this. The defense, they could say that a lot. There's a lot of things they need to do to get better. But we kind of looked at it in the offseason as this is a team that is going to have to outscore its opponents. We kind of knew the defense wasn't going to be, in the top 3 in the league.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because, they could have scored 50 last week.
Yeah.
The double pass to Chark could have got there. He missed Amon-Ra on a play. He missed Chark again. The Goff thing is going to be something we're going to go back and forth on with is Goff a player that caps your offense and keeps you, from winning big games, or is he a player who's going to emerge? We're not even talking about Jameson Williams getting added to this mix and how exciting that's going to be and what that offense could look like. If you want to view it as the same old Lions kind of thing, that's fine. But to me, it's not at all. It's not close.
Yeah, it definitely, and it's funny. I see a lot kind of a coverage where, there's of course the early season hype. You see it every year. And then, typically the Lions do revert into that some version of the SOL, right? The same old Lions. And that's just been the history, and it's easy. But last week we saw the turn happen really quick on the reporting, falling into that SOL spot, calling Hutch a bust and all that. And it's like, wow, rookie's first week over pursued a little bit on a highly mobile quarterback that makes defenses look like fools, as we've seen. And to that point, I mean, can we look at the Minnesota-Philadelphia game and, as through the transitive property, say that the Lions have a really, really good shot to stomp the Minnesota Vikings this week? I know we don't want to look too far ahead, but
yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable to think that the Lions can maybe make Kirk Cousins uncomfortable, and also the Vikings are not going to cover the Lions really well in their secondary. So I think that, the combination of those things, we could see a high scoring game, just like, so far what it's looked like. The Lions offense is up to the task, though. I mean, they're doing just super smart things. Like something as simple as, and this was a part of the game in which I felt the same old Lions grip. I felt it sort of put its fingers around my neck. and it was right before the Amon-Ra jet sweep 58-yard run.
Yep.
And you could feel that game being, it just was all of a sudden this game is too tight. Shouldn't be this tight. And then next thing you know, the Lions are in the red zone and scoring. It's like, okay, in the past, they go 3 and out here, they punt, and now they're in trouble. But instead, dagger in the, he puts a dagger in their back, and it just. But something as simple as them using that play and understanding what coverage Minnesota was in, and knowing that they're in man coverage. So if we run this play, we know the outside corner is never going to see it, because he's going to get buried by the numbers of the receiver, and we're going to run the receiver inside and pull the cornerback. We're going to crack on the safety, and Amon-Ra should have plenty of room to run here, and it worked incredibly well. But it's simple stuff like that. It's just so simple. It doesn't have to be super complicated, and that's the kind of stuff they're doing that makes me really hopeful for where they'll be as an offense.
Riz, Ben Johnson, you want to praise the BJ a little bit?
Yes, I do. I thought
I'm home.
I thought that the play that Scott just alluded to was the perfect time to counterpunch, because they were reeling a little bit, and Washington had seized the momentum and was playing very good football. And before you came on, Scott, we were talking about the offensive adjustments that Washington made that worked. They did a great job of using their speed vertically or horizontally, and it gave the Lions a lot of problems. The Lions came back and did the same thing to them, and you heard it on the game broadcast. You heard the outside guy yell, "Oh!"
Yep.
And he knew he was cooked. He saw it was Montez Sweat. He like pivoted around and got into chase mode, and that there was nobody there. Perfect play call. Also, to focus, we talked about the attention to detail a lot. Craig Reynolds sold that fake like a mother. Goff sold that fake beautifully. Yep. He put that ball in Amon-Ra. He didn't move.
Yeah.
Like that's perfect execution.
Yep.
The fact that they didn't screw up any part of that right there should bury the SOL stuff with this team.
I mean,
their attention to detail has been incredible.
Yep.
It has.
Yep. The misdirection. And it's rare that you see the cameraman fooled or camera person fooled on these broadcasts. Fox got blown out twice in that game by the misdirection of the Lions. I was pretty impressed. I mean, it was just very, very on point, very well crafted, very well a level of execution that I'm not used to seeing from the offense. As good as Stafford was, as good as when we had a running game with Reggie Bush and Joik and all that. I mean, those were good games, but it just didn't have this kind of. That felt a lot more. It's if you're at all into soccer at all. I remember the World Cup when it was Germany against Argentina or Brazil. It was like watching, the Argentina. I think watching them was very much like watching jazz music, whereas Germany was like watching a watch being made. It was just that kind of pure precision, and the precision won, right? And that's really, I think, what it feels like we're seeing with kind of Ben Johnson's offense here is that real kind of perfect timekeeping, kind of perfect kind of piece. Now, when it doesn't work, that's where we're seeing those again to the shark throws and the Hawkinson throws. That it's not quite in time and not quite aligned. But if they get those gears meshed, they could go, like you said, 50. They could really go places with what they're putting out there.
Yeah.
All right. Why do you agree with Ron Rivera's choice to go for 2 there, Scott?
I don't know what was there any analytics at all that backed up? Like, did he think the score was a different score? I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked into it, so I just thought it was super odd when they did it.
Yeah.
Didn't make a lot of sense. He didn't explain it very well. He did explain it. It was clear that he was agitated by the question and wanted to just get through it and didn't really give a great answer. Yeah.
It was odd.
But the only thing I can think of is that the first one worked and it was a really nice play. Second one, no.
Yep. Lions building momentum. We're building momentum. We've got Scott Bischoff on. He's going to be on our YouTube channel. Just watch. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the notifications. He will be there Friday with his first. He will be back early next week. His first being the game preview. He will be back early next week with his review of the game to give you a good, solid analysis of what he saw, what worked, what didn't work, and a look at the outcome. And then we're talking about some daily fantasy, some other great stuff. Scott, so excited to have you on board, man. I'm really, really stoked by this kind of team we're putting together here. We got some really
it's awesome.
stuff,
I'm excited too, and this, it's not just seasonal stuff too. I mean, this is going to be a season-long thing where, like I said earlier, the draft coverage here. I feel uncomfortable always doing this kind of stuff, but I don't think we're going to be touched from a draft.
Nope.
Yeah, we're good.
We got so much fun. It's going to be so good. All right, Scott, I know you've had a really, really busy day, man. We're with you. Thank you for showing up. Really excited with everything going on. Give our best to your family.
Thanks,
we love
guys.
you, man.
I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, bro?
Thanks.
All right, we'll see you.
See you guys.
Scott Bischoff joining the team with some great new content. Detroit Lions Podcast.
So good to have that guy. I have known Scott for a very long time. He is one of the smartest draft evaluators. And again, we talked about it. I love arguing with him because we're going to bring things up and we're not going to get personal about it. We're just going to keep it like with what's the film. And that's the kind of content that I cannot wait to create with him. It's going to be so much fun.
We got to get him in the Slack. Oh, I didn't even think about it. We got to get him in the Slack. I'll get him in there tonight so we can have some of those personal arguments in right there. Good stuff. All right, Scott Bischoff joining us. We're really excited to have him on the team. It's gonna be some great content. You guys are gonna love the angle, and it kind of frees us up to do some other things as well. Just more. You guys keep asking for more content. We're putting it together as best we can to get you some really good quality stuff. And I think Scott nailed it. Our draft coverage is gonna be untouched in Detroit, man. But we still have a season of stuff to cover, so we will do that. We'll keep getting it. We got that now.
15 more games. At minimum.
John Warden, thank you. John Warden, thank you so much for subscribing. With that, I want to ask everybody, we do it once a show, so you got to bear with us. Please like and subscribe. The like button is right there. It's free. It's easy to do. It helps us out a lot. Helps other people find us. Helps us doing our thing. Destroy all. Thank you for your subscription right there on the fly. And the subs, those also help people find the show and help us grow the channel and do the thing. And again, add people like Scott. All those things are the things that help us to add these great people, this great coverage, and then create this great content for you. So it's the quick ask: subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when the content comes out, hit the like button while you're watching. It really, really does mean a lot and help us a lot, and we appreciate you all for doing that. And I will stop talking about it now. All right, let's talk about the look ahead to the Minnesota Vikings. Eagles proved... I just got really quick on Dez. Sorry, I want to cover it. Eagles proved his point on how dominant the Lions are this year when they played Minnesota. We're looking ahead to the Minnesota Vikings. This, Riz, I think, is a very, very important game. Maybe more so for the fans than the team. Every game is important to the team, so I don't want to diminish the importance there. But folks are on a super high ride right now after that Washington game. They're going on the road to USPANC Stadium. And this is one I think people will come crashing hard if the Lions don't pull this one out. I got my money on my Lions. I think the Lions are in my mind, the favorites here. but this is really, really important for fans. They need this second win to help carry them, I believe. Where's your head at, man?
Yeah, and I think most fans are sort of unsure where to be on the team yet because they lost to Philadelphia. And I think they know that Philadelphia is good, but okay, you still lost the game. It was a home game.
Yep.
And Washington, like you kicked their ass the first half, 22-0. And then they came back a little bit. And a team that's a little bit better than Washington, and I think Minnesota is better than Washington overall, certainly on offense, is going to be more difficult to repel when they make that inevitable run. So it's one of those deals where do you know what you got in your team? Like how good can we feel? How confident can I be that this team is what I want it to be, that that they're going to be able to beat good teams consistently? This is a good test for them. It's the first time they've been on the road this year. That's going to be a little different. That's always a little bit of an adjustment. Kirk Cousins not playing in prime time is a different guy. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in football right now, with DeAndre Hopkins being suspended out. And although A.J. Brown has put his name in the conversation too, he's a problem. And it's not just a Jeff Okuda money ROA problem. He's a problem, folks. And they're good enough to go around. Now, last night, if you watched the game, you saw the other guys didn't step up. And some of that was Philly playing well. Some of that was Kirk Cousins being pressured and having problems dealing with that pressure. I think the Lions can do that. So my key to this game, there's two of them. I'll go over them real quick here. The first one, they cannot let Kirk Cousins get comfortable.
No.
They've got to keep him worried, wondering where that rush is. Don't give him time to survey the field. Don't give him time to find Justin Jefferson down the field. Don't give him time to find Adam Thielen. And the other one, you've got to hit your shots in the red zone. 4 for 4 in week 1 was fantastic. You're kicking 31-yard field goals against the Minnesota Vikings. You're not going to go home a winner. You've got to capitalize in the red zone when you get there. And Goff did a great job in the first week. This week wasn't. He had some, but it's got to be all. Otherwise, you're not going to get that win.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Mike Hodges, Philly may have given us a good blueprint. I think you're right. I think that Minnesota's reeling a bit after that performance because they did get completely smoked. And they've got a short week to try to figure out Detroit after that. Detroit has, other than the drinking that Coach Campbell did in prep of review of the game.
By the way, that was a joke.
Yeah.
And Birchie, I like Birchie. Birchie's a good dude. He came back very quickly and said that it was a joke, but a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, he's serious." Like, no. Go listen to the show. It's on their archives. I listened to it to make sure that Dan was joking, and Dan knows how to spin it, but he didn't really do that, folks.
Yeah. Let the legend live on. But we've got a little jump on that, thanks to the work that Philadelphia did. Now, Minnesota's going to work to cover that. They're going to do some, they know that they were exposed, and they're going to do some work around and covering that up. But we've also got Ben Johnson, who's proven to be quite a super smart guy at offensive coordinator. This is a good opportunity to kind of push that to the next level with the Vikings. Take that Philly blueprint, evolve it a little bit, and then see what we can do. Love to see that. I think Scott was right. This is a offensive kind of game. The offense definitely is going to have to win this game. We lost in Minnesota last year by a late field goal. We beat them as the first win of the game at home. Both teams have improved. This is an absolutely winnable game. This is one that is winnable. They can do it. I expect them to win. But I think for the fans, the fans really need this one. And I think even losing to the Patriots the next week would be acceptable if we beat Minnesota this week. I think fans will be able to palate that a lot better.
We do get New England after that, don't we? I don't look that far ahead. Like when I'm in the season, like I'm in the moment. I don't really look ahead beyond like the next game. I couldn't tell you who they play the week after that either.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I'm tracking. I've got a whole bunch of games tracked here. But I look. I'm not saying a loss is acceptable, right? But I just think people will be able to handle it better if we were to lose to New England and beat Minnesota, particularly because it's a division game. But right now, the high that people are riding, the confidence in the team and the coaching staff, and that the things are working, will really land if we get this win here. And so we're good. We're good. I think we will beat New England as well, just to kind of get a look ahead. Even with, I think we beat Minnesota, but even if
New England is not outscoring this Detroit team.
Yep. Yeah, you're
not a
right.
chance.
Yep.
They might win, but it won't be because they outscore us. It will be because our defense gives up or our offense screws up.
Yeah. Mike, you're right. There'll be a rush for the Lions bandwagon. If we beat Minnesota after Hard Knocks, people are looking for that excuse to jump on and really make the Lions their second team. There's a lot of people poking around saying, I kind of like this. That was interesting. That was fun. To see some success, you're going to pull all kinds of people in. And you know what? Some people say, if you didn't love me when I was 3-11, don't talk to me when I'm 6-11, whatever. Either way, I don't care about the bandwagon. Jump on board. Come, more the merrier. We can all party together.
Just acknowledge that you're a bandwagoner. Don't be talking like you've been here for a long time. You're welcome to join. It's fine. Free country.
Yep.
But don't misrepresent yourself.
Yep.
And for those of you who have followed along from the 216 because the team down there ain't doing it, and oh my god, that was difficult to watch. Watching Joe Flacco engineer two touchdown drives in the final minute and 50 seconds to beat the Browns when Nick Chubb scores should have fallen. That's how you lose games. And I did an appearance on the Huge Show. Was that yesterday? And I talked about the same old Lions, and the people who were talking about the same old Lions. I'm like, open your eyes and look at what happened around the league. Look at what the Dolphins did to Baltimore. Look at what the Jets did to the Browns. Both of those games had 99% win probabilities, and they went the other direction.
Yep.
That same old Lions crap. And it didn't happen in Detroit. It happened to teams that have had a lot more success recently than those have. The Browns won a playoff game a couple years ago. Ravens they were my pick to go to the Super Bowl this year out of the AFC. Their defense is not looking so high on that. Give Tua some credit too. Give Jalen Waddle a hell of a lot of credit.
Yeah,
dude can play.
Yeah,
but that's you saw examples of same old Lions in other uniforms this weekend. I hope that is something that sinks into those of you professionally negative people.
Yeah, Corey. Choop. Sorry, I don't know if I don't want to destroy it, but Walker has had New England circled on his calendar for months. Absolutely, he's out there. He is going to hawk for that ball. Big West, absolutely. If we beat Minnesota, then Seattle, New England, Dallas are all just checked off as winnable games for this team, especially at the state.
Those are the three worst teams we're going to play outside of Chicago.
Yeah.
By the way, Chicago threw the ball 11 times. How
think about?
Are you trying?
Just think about it. If we beat Minnesota, that puts us at 2 wins. Those 3 teams, we'll just say we win 5 wins, and then you got Chicago twice. What number does that give you?
That's 7 right there. I can do that math.
There's my number, baby. Let's do this. All right, there it is. There's your look ahead. We'll have a real in-depth look at the upcoming game against Minnesota with Scott on Friday. That's going to break. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when that happens. Don't forget Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com, Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com to get anything from Amazon, and Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com, Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Both of those will take you to their respective places, Amazon or Fanatics, right to the site. It puts a cookie in your browser. All that does is tell them that we sent you and we'll get credit. It takes a little bit of money out of their pocket, puts it in our pocket, and helps us do all the stuff that we do here. So please use those links when you go to those places and help our shows out. Riz, it's been a long one. I want to remind people about Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. When you go there and donate as little as $5 a month on that, you will get access to the Slack chat, which is the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. You've got Riz, you got Case, you got Ash, you're going to have Scott Bischoff, you got Chris, you got Sandman, and you got a whole slew of hundreds of other people having some of the smartest chat, the best discussion, some of the best content about the Lions and multiple other topics. I mean, we've got dining, which is all about grilling and cooking and all kinds of things, cocktails, drinks, whatever, movies, memes, fantasy football, hockey. I mean, you name it. barbecue. There's tons and tons of other channels for all kinds of conversations. It's really, really well done. Experts in every area. We have Wisco doing his great stuff. He's the one that got me the 24 contracts and only earned money on 5 stat on Dan Skipper earlier. Wisco's great. I mean, a lot of experts. He's flipped a million houses, does a lot of construction, fab, does a lot of work as well, who's a really, really awesome guy. You know directly, Riz, with the help when your house flooded.
I'm literally sitting in his chair. Quite literally.
Just a long list of really, really great people that take care of each other and have a great time talking Lions and all kinds of other stuff. You can join the crew. Again, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. It is the smartest chat and the best group of people you're going to find on the internet that talk Lions, period. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. It's the very best place to check us out without any pants. If you want to see at least shorts and a little bit of class with it, you can go to @Jeff and follow him as well. And but class list at DET Lions Podcast. No class at all. Give us a call via Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast.
Can't get my leg up that high.
Or call us on the Lions line, 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667. Leave a message. We'll get you on the air with those crazy messages. Also, go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the show. You can do it. It's Google Play. It's podcasts. It's Spotify. All the different ones. We're all in all of them. What'll happen if they do that, Riz?
We can come to your ear holes automatically that way.
Right.
That's a nice way to finish.
Who wants that? I think you do. I think you absolutely do. Also, thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems. Because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. See you.